So I don't talk about Power Rangers too much on this channel. I review the comics on my other channel, and the comics are actually really good. If you're looking for a good comic book, those Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics are pretty solid, especially if you like the old show. I don't know if you like the later stuff, if it's still as good, but for fans of the old series, you'll definitely find something pretty good there. But what we're going to talk about over here is the future reboot movie. They're going to reboot it again. As you know, they just did a Power Rangers movie not too long ago. It had Bryan Cranston in it as Zordon and stuff. I guess they're scrapping that and they're going to go in a different direction, which, if this report is true, is kind of confusing, and I'll go over why in a second. Another thing that's dropped about Power Rangers is apparently Hasbro is moving away from Toei. Toei, of course, has the Super Sentai series, which Power Rangers is based on, and they're going to apparently do their own thing. I don't know how that works, though. I guess the idea is they're going to do an animated series, according to the report. I still don't know. I would guess they're going to go back to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers if they do that, and probably maybe use the comic books, I would think, as a guide. But doesn't Toei own those designs? I'm not quite sure how that works. So don't they still have to pay Toei some money? Anyway, I don't know. That's a report I read. I don't know if that's 100% true, but apparently Hasbro is moving away from Toei. But this is the other big story. So Power Rangers movie reboot details include time travel, female lead, Lord Zedd, and more. So this is going to be a hard video if you don't know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing that's worrying me is the time travel thing and Lord Zedd. The female lead thing, there's been Power Rangers teams where females are leaders. That's really nothing new. What worries me here in this is them going back and messing with the original stuff. We've seen so far, every time that these companies do this, they always end up disrespecting the source material. And that's why I wonder, is Power Rangers going to get its Last Jedi moment? Because that old team is very popular. If you ever go to a con, and if they have some characters, especially like Jason David Frank and stuff like that, that guy has lines out the door. Like, people still really like that old team. And that'd be one of the reasons why they're going to use them. Like, I bet people that, maybe haven't been following the stuff for a long time, but see that old team is going to be brought in. I guarantee people will go watch that or watch it on demand, since I don't know if movie theaters are going to be around in a year or two. That's a whole different video, and I've talked about that. But I think that would make money for sure. You're not doing it's not a traditional reboot like the original. Like, when was it? It was at 2015 or 16 that Power Rangers movie came out. This is different. They're talking about actually going back in time to the same universe as the television show. So let me get into this a little bit. So we previously heard that time travel was involved, talking about the new movie, and that still seems to be the case. And according to their new report, a new team of Rangers will be transported by Zordon to that beloved era to face Lord Zedd, but those aren't the only details we got. So transported by Zordon. Now that makes me wonder what's up with this, because in the television series, Zordon died. I think it was at the end of Lost in Space or whatever, Power Rangers in Space or Galaxy, whatever the final season was for the Zordon era, they call it. Like, he died, and his wave of energy made everybody that was evil good. So I don't know what's up with that. Makes me wonder about this report, but a lot of the leaks of this have been pretty consistent about time travel. If you think about nostalgia and how much money can be made off there, I think that there's some truth to this report. So you're going to send a new team of people to go fight Lord Zedd. Well, that makes me wonder why. So that makes me think somebody else is messing with time. And what are they going to do with the old characters? Now, this does open up bringing old faces back, which I guess they would have to de-age them. I don't know how much money they're going to spend on this. The new report states that the all-new Ranger team will not necessarily be limited to 5 Rangers, and it will include an original lineup of heroes. Hasbro is also looking to create a truly diverse cast, which will include different races and members of certain communities. The report also states that there are plans to cast a female lead. Well, this is, of course, modern Hollywood, so that would make sense, right? And that's always worked. That's always a huge money maker. Huge money maker to do the female lead, so why not? It really doesn't bother me. As long as the actors and the actresses are good and they make good characters, that doesn't care. What I'm concerned about is the time traveling and messing with history and the old characters. So are these new people are going to be the stars. So what does that mean for the old characters? Are they going to be one-upped? Are they going to be embarrassingly bad? Are they going to be the joke of the movie? Every time Hollywood does stuff like this, it always ends up disrespecting the stuff fans love. I would much rather them just try to do a reboot sequel to that old movie that came out. Old movie came out in like 2016. I'd rather see that, to be honest, because there's just so many things that could go wrong with this, and it makes me worry. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to disrespect it? Because that's all Hollywood has ever done with stuff like this, is disrespect the source material. Look at like Luke Skywalker. All right, what are we going to get? Tommy from Jason David Frank. Tommy going to look like a punk, and they're going to change him or make him look like a coward so that they can make these new people look better. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I wouldn't put it past them. Like, oh, we got to prop up these new people, make them, look how much better they are than the old people you loved. And that's my concern here. All right, this stuff is never done very well, and I find it concerning, and I think it'll irritate a lot of people, but these people, they do it over and over again. Look at Terminator Dark Fate, right? That's another one that did it. Went back, messed with the original stuff to prop up the new people. And how'd that work out for them? How'd it work out with Star Wars? It never works out. People never like it. And I want to go into this thinking, okay, well, maybe they'll do a good job here, but with Hollywood, they always want to spit on the old stuff to prop up the new stuff. And people are sick of that. I don't like it. And I'm hoping that this isn't true. But if it is true, we will see what happens. And I hope that they don't disrespect the old Rangers and the things that people like. But I'm not holding my breath. In the script's current state, Lord Zed is the villain of the film, and the movie will feature several different looks for the Ranger suits and the Zords from Ranger history. This is a bit of news. This last bit of news is that the film is potentially shooting in New Zealand, which is where the shows typically film. And that sounds about right. They've been doing a lot of stuff over in New Zealand lately. So there's a lot of new information, and we definitely are intrigued if it turns out to be true. The time travel aspect has been reported from several sources now, so that seems like it will definitely be included. As for the other details, including Zed, the various swords and suits, and the casting, we'll just have to wait and see. But it does all seem credible, and I agree. It has been reported by several people, and it's likely probably true. I mean, think about it. It's going to make money. And what's funny is that's how they'll prop it up in the advertising. You'll see some slick, sleek-looking, old-style Mighty Morphin outfits, and it will draw in old fans, and they'll probably want to bring their kids to it too. It's a win-win to do it. The problem is, are they going to do it right, or are they going to follow the Dark Fate Last Jedi model and trash everybody's favorite stuff? I want to add this article in too because there's a little bit more information. This dropped a little bit after the other one that I was covering came up, but they're talking about they can use this to bring in old actors. So, listen to this part. This also makes the time travel element even better. The Pat report said that the new team of Rangers will be sent back in time by Zordon to the Mighty Morphin era, and that Lord Zed will be the main villain. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be later in the Mighty Morphin era, meaning we could perhaps see older versions of our favorite characters make an appearance, like Austin St. John recently did in Beast Morphers. That's the other little bit. They don't say what era that this is happening in. So I don't think that's true because that doesn't make any sense because Zed isn't around unless he somehow gets brought back, but Zordon isn't around either. So the idea here is that it takes place in everything that's already existed, that the continuity of the entire television series would still be in place. That means there shouldn't be a Zordon or Lord Zed. Now, going back into the past, you could have Lord Zed, but having this take place later in the era to have older actors and actresses from the original series, that doesn't line up very well. So it's kind of conflicting. I mean, and they might not know that stuff in this report, so it's tough to say. My guess to what's going to happen here is that the time travel stuff is 100% true. That's a real thing. That's for sure. And it would make sense if you're going to time travel in Power Rangers to send them back to the Mighty Morphin era. And they'll probably do like they do in the comics. They'll send them to the Mighty Morphin era, but the Mighty Morphin era won't be the 90s aesthetic. They'll do like they do in the comics and give you the same, everything's the same. It's just updated into today's world because in the comics they have the internet and cell phones and stuff like that. That's what I think will happen. I don't think it's Zordon, unless it's Zordon reincarnated or something. It'll be somebody else that sends them back. The real question I have is how do they treat those older characters when they get there? That's the question I have. And given everything that we've seen come out of Hollywood, I'm not sure. Now, the one saving grace is Paramount is behind this, and Paramount did do some good things with Sonic, and they did treat that franchise very good. So we'll see. Time will tell. But I'm telling you right now, I don't have high hopes, and I'm very cautious as this moves forward. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please share the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Are you hopeful, or are you a little bit fearful? Like to hear what you have to say. Also, if you would, share the video. Make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.